There's a lot we learned in the NFL during the 2023 season.
Everything's going to be different. They don't know another way of doing it for the last 24 years.
Right. Roughly 1/3 of the league is stuck in long-term mediocrity or awfulness unless they commit to a blow-it-up style rebuild. Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings have 2 playoff appearances and 1 postseason victory in the Kirk Cousins era, which began in 2018. For some reason, though, ownership just remains content with mediocrity. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and TJ Hawkinson are a nice set of weapons to build around on offense, but it's time to move on from Cousins and actually find a young QB to work with. The running back room of Alexander Mattison, Cam Akers, and Ty Chandler needs to be cleared out and rebooted entirely. Also, it's time to rebuild that aging defense because Harrison Smith, Danielle Hunter, and Jordan Hicks are not getting any younger. This team is nowhere close to competing with the big boys in the NFC. And only a patient, blow-it-up rebuild is gonna get them there. Denver Broncos. If the Broncos were committed to Russell Wilson, then we would have endorsed the idea of going all in and trying to compete in 2024. But alas, the Broncos have made it clear that they are not committed to Wilson. Denver benched Wilson in favor of Jarrett Stidham for the final 2 games. The reason? Wilson has $37 million in injury guarantees for the 2025 season. So the Broncos didn't want to take any chances. So anyway, that's the end of the Wilson era in Denver, and he certainly can't be the only guy to walk out that door. How about Cortland Sutton and the consistently underperforming Jerry Jeudy while we're at it? Star offensive tackle Garrett Bowles can fetch something of value on the market as well. Or how about all-pro safety Justin Simmons, who could be a nice pickup for any Super Bowl contender? John Payton is a Hall of Fame coach. Let him rebuild the roster entirely how he wants to see it, rather than clinging to an overpaid core that has underachieved time and time again. Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are pretty much in the same position as the Broncos. They're in that 7-9 win range and would make the playoffs if everything just went right. But that's it. That's their ceiling. We loved the decision to retain Antonio Pierce as head coach, and as evidenced by his tenure in La La Land, new Raiders GM Tom Telesco is one of the game's best at the draft table. Here's the Raiders' perfect opportunity to blow it all up and rebuild from scratch under Pierce and Telesco. Josh Jacobs can walk to free agency, Devontae Adams can fetch an early round pick or 2, Jacoby Myers as well. The Raiders just keep striking out at QB and need to stop going with middle-tier veterans like Derek Carr or Jimmy Garoppolo. They can either take a chance on someone like Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, or JJ McCarthy, or essentially plan the tank job for the 2025 QB class. Owner Mark Davis has been too content with 7-win seasons, and that has gotten the Raiders absolutely nowhere. They want to win like the other AFC powerhouses? Well, it's time to commit to a full-scale rebuild with this new regime. Washington Commanders. Firing Ron Rivera was predictable and also the right move. Now the Commanders need to actually set a long-term vision with toxic former owner and control freak Dan Snyder well out of the picture. New owner Josh Harris hit the home run by hiring Adam Peters, a 3-time Super Bowl winning executive, as his new GM. Harris appears to be a pretty hands-off owner, so that should allow Peters to rebuild the team his way. Peters has an easy decision to take Caleb Williams or Drake May, whichever one remains, at the number 2 pick in this year's draft. A nice start, yet the full-out rebuild can't just start at QB. The entire offensive line and defense must be rebuilt too. And it'd be nice if they could find another quality pass catcher to complement Mr. Reliable, aka Terry McLaurin, because 2022 first-rounder Jahan Dotson has not cut it as the number 2 guy up to this point. Ron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and Jamin Davis could have value on the market. Washington needs to continue stockpiling draft picks, and they got off to a pretty good start by unloading Chase Young and Montez Sweat for day 2 selections. But hey, why stop there? Peters simply has too many holes to fill across the board, because the bulk of this core has had enough time to prove themselves, and clearly, it ain't gonna work. New England Patriots. Well, the Patriots kinda started the blow it all up thing by parting ways with Bill Belichick and promoting Jared Mayo to the head coaching position. But trust us, there is a long way to go in rebuilding this team into a playoff caliber club in a daunting AFC. Patriots need to get rid of Mac Jones and or Bailey Zappi. Among their skill position guys, Demario Douglas is literally the only guy that should be brought back next year. Heck, the entire offensive line can be rebuilt too. On defense, the Pats may as well explore the market for star pass rushers Christian Barmore and Matt Judon, who are both entering their contract years. With Judon entering his age 32 season, he just doesn't fit the Patriots' long-term plans anyway. With the number 3 pick, the Patriots should either take can't-miss Ohio State wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. or a dynamic QB prospect like LSU's Jaden Daniels. Either way, they're about to get one franchise-changing piece on the offensive side of the ball. The new-look Patriots just need to trade, well, just about everyone of value and start over everywhere on the roster. offense especially. Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals seem keen on keeping Kyler Murray around for at least another year, so we aren't going to fully be against that idea. But still, they can go through with a drastic rebuild with number 1 in the fold. The Cardinals' problem is that they have way too many roster flaws across the board. The only untouchable should be Trey McBride, and maybe Mr. Murray himself, depending on how confident you are in him as a franchise QB. But at this rate, the Cardinals should prepare to trade any player of value and get much-needed additional draft capital to fill up their many flaws. It is long overdue for Pro Bowl safety Budda Baker, by far Arizona's most valuable trade chip, to get shipped out this offseason. As productive as he is in the backfield, it also makes sense to deal James Conner and find a cheaper replacement there. Bottom line, Arizona is too many pieces away from being competitive in 2024. But why build a team with a ceiling of 5 to 7 wins max? May as well bottom out now a la 2021 Detroit Lions and start to rebuild from scratch. Tennessee Titans. The Titans appear ready for a retool at the very least. I mean, they hired former Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan to replace Mike Vrabel as head coach, but there's still plenty of work to be done. As much as they would love to keep Derrick Henry, I think it's time to let the 30-year-old running back pursue a ring at this point of his career.
Titan fans, I just want to say thank you for the greatest 8 years of my life.
It'd be wise to trade Pro Bowl wideout DeAndre Hopkins, who had just 1 year remaining on his contract. There are several quality veteran players that could fetch decent returns in the trade market too. This includes pass rushing standouts Harold Landry and Arden Key, as well as vastly underrated safety Amani Hooker. Will Levis is a fascinating young QB to try and build around, but the Titans just have too many flaws to compete right now. All 3 of their AFC South Division rivals have plenty of young cornerstone pieces and new franchise QBs in place after all. Second-year GM Rand Carthen can rebuild the team his way with Vrabel no longer in the picture. This whole relying on Henry in the front 7 to win just doesn't work in an AFC loaded with elite young quarterbacks and prolific passing games. It's time to go from retool to blow it up rebuild in Music City. New York Giants. The Giants should have traded Saquon Barkley when they had the chance, but it's in the past now. What they can do is the smart decision to not overpay an injury-prone star at a devaluing position. Save the precious dollars and find a cheaper running back option. Simple. Next, the Giants shouldn't be afraid to draft a new QB with the number 6 pick. Daniel Jones has had 1 good season in 5 years, and the structure of his deal allows Big Blue to get out of it after the 2024 season. Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy, and Michael Penix Jr. are among the options that could be there for Brian Dable and company. And for the love of humanity, can the Giants please get some freaking pass catchers? Odell Beckham Jr. was the last Giants player to have 1,000 yards receiving back in 2018. How about not asking Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard to be your top receivers anymore? They'll think Brian Dable can be a great head coach in this league. But the Giants need to stop relying on a core of Jones, Barkley, Shepard, and Slayton on offense. It's time to rebuild from the bottom up here. New Orleans Saints. The Saints have tried to remain competitive in the post-Drew Brees and Sean Payton era, and that has brought them 0 postseason appearances since Brees' retirement in 2021, which now leads to this question. What exactly is the end goal for New Orleans? If there's a time to blow it up and start over, it's gonna be now. Derek Carr isn't a QB who gets you to a Super Bowl, as evidenced by his 0 career playoff wins. Michael Thomas has 9 lives in NOLA, even though he still hasn't been elite in 4 years. Stalwart defensive tackle Ryan Ramczyk may have to retire because of an knee injury. Even workhorse running back Alvin Kamara will slow down at any point with all that mileage on his body. And on defense, Cameron Jordan, Tyrann Mathieu, Demario Davis, Marcus May, well, they're all in their 30s now. This year's draft allows GM Mickey Loomis to draft a second-tier QB prospect and have him learn behind Carr for a year or 2. He can land additional draft capital by trading away the likes of Jones, Matthew, Davis, and Kamara too. Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert should literally be the only untradeable guy. Everyone else here has to be on the table. The Chargers have had enough chances to win with the likes of Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, Joey Bosa, and Derwin James. The Bolts just have too many holes across the board to realistically compete anytime soon. Letting Eckler walk to free agency is a no-brainer. So how about trading the likes of Allen, Williams, James, and Mack? Heck, even consider trading Bosa for extra draft picks to fill those roster holes. LA just isn't close to dethroning Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the AFC. They are miles behind the other conference heavyweights. They have a 5-star QB and building block in Herbert, but they need to rebuild for at least 3 years here to develop a sustainable long-term winner. But which other NFL teams need to blow it all up right now? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.